Tonight, I found myself wandering through the streets of a city I had only recently arrived in. A place whose every corner feels unfamiliar, yet strangely inviting. The air carries with it a crisp coolness, a reminder that the day has finally surrendered to the evenings, and the night has stretched out its long fingers across the skyline. The sun has already dipped below the horizon, painting the world with a lingering afterglow that slowly gives way to the soft illumination of street lamps, neon signs, and windows glowing from the lives unfolding inside. There is something magical about exploring a city for the first time at night. During the day, places reveal themselves in practical detail. Shops open their doors, traffic clogs the streets, and people hurry about, consumed by the demands of their routines. But at night, a city transforms into something different, something more intimate and mysterious. It feels as though I have stepped into a living painting, where every street corner whispers stories, every flickering light invites curiosity, and every shadow hints at secrets waiting to be discovered. I begin my evening stroll at a small plaza near the hotel where I am staying. The plaza itself is modest, an open space paved with stone tiles that glisten faintly under the lamplight. A fountain sits in the center, water cascading gently down its tiers, the sound mingling with the distant hum of passing cars. Around the plaza, a few cafes remain open, their outdoor seating areas occupied by clusters of people sipping coffee or wine, laughing and chatting as if the night were still young. I pause for a moment to absorb the atmosphere, to let the energy of this new place seep into me. Walking away from the plaza, I let my feet guide me without any fixed destination. I am not searching for anything in particular tonight. I simply want to drift through the city, to observe, to breathe, and to feel the streets wind in unexpected directions. Some narrow and lined with tall old buildings, whose facades are etched with the passage of time. Others wide and modern, bursting with shops and glowing billboards. Each turn feels like opening a new chapter in a book I had only just begun reading. As I move deeper into the city, I notice how the character of the streets shifts with each neighborhood. In one area, families stroll together, children holding balloons or licking ice cream cones despite the late hour. In another, the nightlife pulses with energy, music spilling from open doors of bars and clubs, laughter and voices rising above the rhythm of drums and guitars. Young people gather in groups on sidewalks, leaning against walls, sharing stories, or smoking as if the night were their own private stage. The neon signs fascinate me. They cast vibrant blues, reds, and greens against the dark backdrop, giving the streets a surreal glow. Some signs advertise small diners with the promise of hot meals. Others point toward karaoke bars, or late-night bookstores, or tucked-away tea houses. I linger outside one such bookstore, its windows filled with shelves stacked high, the smell of old paper wafting faintly even through the glass. I imagine stepping inside, losing myself among the aisles, running my fingers along spines of novels written in languages both familiar and foreign. But I decide to keep walking, saving that small adventure for another evening. Tonight is about the outside world, not the quiet sanctuaries hidden indoors. The further I go, the more I notice the layers of the city's identity. It is not just buildings and lights. It is people, gestures, habits, and the rhythms that guide their lives. At one corner, a street musician strums his guitar, his voice raw but soulful as he sings in a language I do not fully understand. His open guitar case lies before him, a scattering of coins glinting under the streetlight. I stop for a while, listening, feeling the sincerity in his music. Strangers pass by, some dropping a coin without breaking stride, others slowing down to nod or smile at him in appreciation. I realize how music can dissolve the walls of unfamiliarity. It does not demand translation. It only asks for an open ear, past the musician. I find myself drawn toward a market street still alive with activity. Stalls display colorful fruits, grilled skewers, steaming bowls of noodles, and countless other dishes whose aromas fill the air and make my stomach rumble despite having eaten dinner earlier. Vendors call out their offers, their voices rising above the buzz of conversations and footsteps. I try a small snack from one of the stalls, something skewered and grilled, smoky and flavorful, eaten quickly while standing. The vendor smiles at me warmly, and though our words are limited, the exchange feels meaningful. Food, like music, is another language that requires no translation. Moving on, I wander into a quieter district. Here, the streets are wide, tree-lined, and calmer compared to the vibrant bustle I left behind. The lamps cast long shadows, and the air feels cooler. Couples walk hand in hand, speaking in hushed voices, while older men sit on benches, reading newspapers under the yellow glow of the lights. The architecture here is different, grander, more historical, with ornate balconies and intricate carvings on the facades. It feels as though I have stepped back in time, into a slower, more graceful rhythm of life. The city at night invites reflection. As I stroll through these streets, I think about the strange comfort of being anonymous in a place where no one knows me. There is freedom in it, a sense that I can observe, absorb, and even reinvent myself if I wish. Nobody here has any expectations of me. I am simply another figure in the crowd, a wanderer among countless others. Yet, paradoxically, I feel deeply connected to the city, to its people, to the shared experience of inhabiting the night together. At one intersection, I stop to watch the traffic lights change. Cars slow, stop, and surge forward again in an endless cycle. Headlights cutting through the darkness like streams of white fire. Motorbikes weave skillfully between lanes, their riders leaning forward as if they were extensions of the machines themselves. The choreography of it all is strangely mesmerizing, like a dance performed without rehearsal, yet executed flawlessly every night. I turn down another street and encounter a small park. The gates are open, and inside, pathways wind between trees and flower beds, illuminated by gentle lamps. I enter, grateful for the temporary escape from the concrete and noise. The park feels almost like a secret garden, quiet except for the soft rustle of leaves and the occasional chirping of crickets. I sit on a bench, watching as joggers pass by and elderly couples take leisurely walks. Above me, the sky reveals itself more clearly, the city lights fading just enough for a scattering of stars to peek through. I lean back, breathing deeply, feeling the calmness settle into me. After some time, I rise and continue my journey, my feet carrying me toward the river that runs through the heart of the city. I know it must be nearby, because I can smell the faint dampness in the air and hear the low murmur of water. When I finally reach it, I am greeted by a breathtaking view, the river reflecting the countless lights of the city, the surface rippling gently like liquid glass. Bridges arch across it, their structures outlined in glowing bulbs, each one a gateway between two sides of the city. I walk along the riverbank, joining others who have come to enjoy the same view. Some sit on steps leading down to the water, couples leaning close together, friends sharing snacks, solitary figures staring out in contemplation. Street vendors sell roasted nuts, skewered meats, and drinks, their carts surrounded by clusters of customers. The atmosphere here feels festive, yet peaceful, a gathering of strangers bound together by the simple joy of being near the water at night. As I walk, I reflect on my journey so far, not just tonight, but in life. Traveling to a new city always reminds me how vast the world is, how many lives unfold simultaneously in ways completely separate from my own. Each window I pass hides a story. Each voice I hear belongs to someone with dreams, struggles, memories, and desires as complex as mine. It humbles me, makes me realize both the smallness and the significance of my own existence. The night deepens, yet I feel no rush to return. My steps grow slower, savoring every moment, every corner turned, every shadow cast. I pass through neighborhoods still lively with night markets, through streets where the smell of fresh bread drifts from late-night bakeries, through alleys adorned with murals that glow faintly under the dim lights. I see a group of teenagers playing guitars by a closed shop, their laughter ringing into the night. I see an elderly woman tending to a flower stall, arranging bouquets even at this hour. I see a stray cat dart across the road, disappearing into the shadows with graceful ease. Each sight etches itself into my memory, forming a mosaic of impressions that will define my first night in this city. By the time I finally circle back toward the plaza where I began, hours have passed unnoticed. The fountain still flows, though the crowd at the cafes has thinned. The night is quieter now, calmer, as though the city itself is preparing to rest. I return to my hotel not with the feeling of having reached an end, but with the sense of having opened a door. Tonight was not just a walk, it was an introduction, a handshake with the soul of a place I am only beginning to know. Tomorrow, I will see the city in daylight, and it will reveal another side of itself. But tonight, I have glimpsed its heart in the glow of its lamps, in the laughter of its people, in the quiet rhythm of its streets. And as I close my eyes later, I know I will dream not of being a visitor, but of belonging, even if only for one fleeting night, to the endless, breathing life of this city,